Hello and welcome to Science Research Weekly, Episode 7, Life, the R Universe, and Everything. Get ready for an exploration of the R Universe. Simulated octopus tentacles, effects of vitamin D, and exercise on health. Fossil wings and fins, statistical conference to set your calendar by, and a very special 23rd birthday. This episode covers February 24th to March 2nd. Boy, oh boy, do I have a slew of fantastic research articles for you today, so buckle on in. First up, we have energy shaping control of a muscular octopus arm moving in 3 dimensions. So using a stored energy function, researchers were able to realistically model movement of an octopus arm in the software environment Elastica. This has ramifications for both biological research on things like octopi, as well as soft robot development. Next, we have injury primes mutation-bearing astrocytes for differentiation in later life. So a study in mice suggested that brain injury might be a risk factor for patients with risk factor for brain cancer development. They also reviewed electronic health records and found that patients with a recorded head injury are almost 4 times more likely to develop brain cancer compared to controls. This is especially important because the etiology of brain cancer is mostly unknown. Okay, next we have the origin of the propatagium in non-avian dinosaurs. So researchers found evidence of the propagadium, a part of a bird's wings that is essential for flight, in non-avian theropod dinosaurs, specifically Caudipterus and Microraptor. So this suggests that Maniraptoran dinosaurs as a whole possess a propagadium even before the origin of flight. Wings up. Moving along here, we have the effectiveness of physical activity interventions for improving depression, anxiety, and distress, an overview of systematic reviews. So this was a synthesis of the effects of physical activity on mental health, and they found that physical activity was highly beneficial, especially for depression. It was actually even better than usual care like counseling or medication. So do yourself a mental health favor and go for a vigorous walk today. Next, we have Moby, a Fiji plugin for sharing the exploration of the multimodal cloud housing big image data. So Moby, named after Moby Dick, from the whale from Moby Dick. This allows for multimodal big data sharing and exploration. No personal supercomputer required. If you're not watching the video portion, I suggest going and looking at this paper because the little image for Moby is a little sperm whale with a magnifying glass, so it's quite delightful. Speaking of technology, we have 3D printing of living structural biocomposites. So researchers developed a 3D ink with a bacterium, so Spora sarcina pasteurii, which can produce calcium carbonate, so CaCO3, in a secondary step. So they can build these 3D structures that kind of traditional 3D inks can't really do because they need to be soft when you kind of pour it out, but then rigid later. So this is a really fascinating sort of breakthrough, and applications of this technology include art, ecology, medicine. Really, the sky's the limit. Next, we have network expansion of genetic associations to find a pleiotropy mech of human cell biology. So researchers developed an interactome, so that's the network of how proteins interact. So they performed a network-based expansion of trait-associated genes for 1,000 human traits. This method recovered known disease genes and drug targets. So this research shows the power of using network expansion on genome-wide association studies. Moving right along here, we have a shape-shifting nuclease unravels structured RNA. Researchers were able to image an enzyme called DIS3L2, which can destroy RNA molecules. It changes shape to unsheath a wedge that splits RNA. Understanding this enzyme could lead to new treatments for diseases caused by RNA malfunction. Okay, then, we are not done yet. Let's keep trucking along here. We have systematics and phylogenetic interrelationships of the enigmatic late Jurassic shark, Protospinax excitans, etc. So researchers found that the fossil shark, Protospinax excitans, was not a primitive shark or a missing link between sharks and rays as was previously thought. It's actually a rather highly evolved shark, showing that sharks in the Jurassic had a lot of radiation and highly evolved traits even then. Okay, here now we come to the final paper for today. Vitamin D supplication in incident dementia, effects of sex, APOE, and baseline cognitive statuses. Researchers looked at over 12,000 individuals from the National Alzheimer's Coordinating Center and found that vitamin D exposure was associated with significantly longer dementia-free survival and lower dementia incidence rates. So the bottom line, vitamin D may be a potential agent for dementia prevention. So, along with that vigorous walk I talked about earlier, get outside and get some sun. Like right now, do it. Live a little. Your brain will thank you for it. I am sunning myself as soon as I get this episode recorded. That's the papers today. I hope you enjoyed. Let's move on to some research tools. So the Julia Hub newsletter, February 2023, is now available. Of note, JuliaCon tickets are available. There's a bunch of free Julia webinars and demos coming up. There's also new Julia packages available, and there are new published papers referencing Julia, including one with a favorite quasi-particle of mine, the skyrmion. Speaking of conferences, BioC 2023, that is the Bioconductor Conference, will take place in August in Boston. Looking for some tools for your papers. Have you heard of PhyloPic? I just learned about this while researching that fossil shark paper. It's a resource with free silhouette images of life forms. Check it out. Life in black and white. Get excited for a new R version. 4.2.3 Shortstop Beagle is coming. Pre-release versions will appear starting this Sunday. Final release is scheduled for Wednesday, March 15th. New CRAN packages that ought to liven you up are as follows. There's aihuman, experiment evaluation of algorithm-assisted human decision-making, reactCheckbox, checkbox group input for Shiny, treediff, testing differences between families of trees, and Rutledge, real-time PCR datasets by Rutledge et al. 2004. All right then, our bloggers brings a bastion of vitality with 3 life-giving posts. So our OpenSci has an earth-defying post on an amazing resource, Our Universe. Quote, the ultimate goal of Our Universe is to help you effectively navigate the R ecosystem, discover what is out there, get a sense of the purpose and quality of individual packages, their developers, and get started using packages immediately without any hassle. Wow. Just the resource I was looking for. There are 3 levels of navigation: searching the global ecosystem, browse by maintainer or organization, and detailed info on individual packages. Set your rockets for Our Universe. You won't regret it. Let's see here. Our Views has its monthly top 40 new CRAN packages, this time for January 2023. The most interesting packages for me in the list were ArchaeoVix, visualization, interactive exploration, and web communication of archaeological excavation data. iTool Toolkit, so provides helper functions to access the interactive tree of life. AutoGo implements a framework to enable automated high-quality gene ontology enrichment analysis visualization. ChatGPT, so implements a ChatGPT coding assistant for the RStudio IDE. Now, I tried this out myself. I don't think it's quite working yet, but I think it's in the works. And then finally, ggplate provides functions to create simple plots of biological cultural plates / microplates. Lastly, in our research tools, guess whose birthday it is? You're right, R. The R Consortium celebrates a very special 23rd birthday for R. R came out in 2000 and since then has almost 20,000 packages available through CRAN, the comprehensive R archive network. Get yourself a slice of cake to celebrate today, after you've done your exercise and got some sun, or at least model and visualize a slice of cake in R. Let's close now with some research funding opportunities. So the NIH has 3 grants that may be of interest. 2 on translational research in maternal and pediatric pharmacology and therapeutics. There's an R01 and R21, respectively, clinical trial optional. And then the NIH has one on genomic community researches. This is a U24, clinical trial optional. The CDC has a grant on clinical and applied research strategies for the prevention and control of fungal diseases. The USDA has a postdoctoral fellowship in spatial statistics for continental scale soil health modeling. The TSC, so the Tuberculosis Sclerosis Complex Alliance, has their 2023 grant cycle coming up soon with opportunities for research and postdoctoral fellowships. Lastly, the Chest Foundation has a variety of grants, including a research grant in chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and one on a young investor research grant. Well, that was super exciting, and hopefully that gave us, this talk gave us the impetus to go to the R universe and beyond. Thank you for joining me for Science Research Weekly. Science on.